We take out the trash and it disappears. Out of sight, out of mind, right? But what if I told you that trash tells a story about our consumption, our habits, and the impact we have on the planet? This isn't just about overflowing bins, it's about a global crisis hidden in plain sight. We're going to uncover the shocking truth about trash. The packaging of your food, the clothes you wear out, the electronics you upgrade, they all end up somewhere. But where? This isn't just a local issue, it's a global one. Mountains of trash rise from the earth, a testament to our throwaway culture. Landfills are overflowing, leaking toxins into our soil and water. The oceans are drowning in plastic with devastating consequences for marine life. The air we breathe is polluted by the burning of waste, impacting our health and contributing to climate change. It's about the very future of our planet. By understanding the magnitude of this crisis, we can start to make a difference. Join me as we delve into the shocking truth about trash and discover how we can turn this problem around. To understand the trash crisis, we need to go back in time. Believe it or not, even our ancestors had to deal with garbage, but their relationship with waste was very different from ours. Ancient civilizations like the Romans and Greeks often reused and repurposed materials. Broken tools became building materials and food scraps nourished the soil. Waste was seen as a resource, not a nuisance. They certainly understood the value of composting, enriching their agricultural lands with organic waste. Their practices, though simple, offer valuable lessons for our modern world. Fast forward to the Industrial Revolution and things begin to change. Mass production leads to mass consumption, and with it, an explosion of waste. The rise of cities brought about new challenges. Factories churned out goods, leaving behind piles of industrial byproducts. The invention of plastic, initially hailed as a miracle material, marked a turning point. Durable, cheap, and versatile, plastic quickly found its way into every aspect of our lives. But its very durability became its downfall. We became a throwaway society, prioritizing convenience over conservation. Plastic, once a symbol of progress, has become the poster child for our waste crisis. It's choking our oceans, filling our landfills, and infiltrating our food chain. Every piece of plastic ever made still exists in some form, breaking down into smaller and smaller particles known as microplastics. These microplastics have been found everywhere, from the deepest ocean trenches to the Arctic ice. It's impacting marine life, contaminating our food supply, and potentially even affecting human health. The promise of convenience and disposability came at a hidden cost, a cost that future generations will be forced to bear. But it's not too late to change course. We often think of trash as a nuisance, a smelly problem to be solved. But the truth is, trash is big business. And like any business, it comes with a hefty price tag. Globally, we spend billions, even trillions of dollars every year just to manage our waste. From collection to transportation to disposal, the costs are staggering. Think about the resources used to create products that end up in landfills. It's an economic drain on a massive scale. And who bears the brunt of these costs? Often, it's the poorest communities, both in developed and developing countries. When we talk about the cost of trash, it's easy to focus on landfills. But the truth is, landfills are just one piece of a much larger and more expensive puzzle. There's the cost of collection and transportation, which requires fleets of trucks, fuel, and manpower. Then there's the cost of sorting and processing waste, which often involves complex machinery and specialized facilities. Landfills require ongoing maintenance to prevent leaks and contamination. These hidden costs are rarely factored into the price of the products we buy, but they're real costs nonetheless, and they're ultimately borne by all of us, whether we realize it or not. For years, recycling has been touted as the solution to our trash problem. And while it's certainly a step in the right direction, the reality of recycling is far more complicated. Not all plastics are created equal. Some types of plastic are easily recyclable, while others are nearly impossible to process. The global recycling system is also plagued by inefficiencies and a lack of infrastructure. Many countries lack the facilities to process certain types of recyclables, leading to mountains of plastic waste being shipped overseas. In many cases, it's simply cheaper to produce new plastic than it is to recycle old plastic. This is a fundamental flaw that needs to be addressed if we're serious about tackling the plastic crisis. We often view trash as an eyesore, a blemish on our otherwise pristine landscapes. But the truth is, trash is much more than an aesthetic problem. It's a silent killer, slowly suffocating our planet and threatening the delicate balance of life itself. From the highest mountains to the deepest ocean trenches, there's no escaping the reach of our trash. Plastic bags drift on ocean currents, mistaken for jellyfish by unsuspecting sea turtles. Microplastics infiltrate the food chain, ending up in the very fish we consume. Landfills, overflowing with our discarded possessions, leach harmful toxins into the soil and groundwater, poisoning the very land we depend on for survival. The air we breathe is thick with the smoke of incinerators, releasing greenhouse gases and particulate matter that damage our health and accelerate climate change. The impact of our waste is most visible in our oceans, which have become the world's largest dumping ground. Every year, millions of tons of plastic enter our waterways, accumulating in massive garbage patches that stretch for miles. Marine life is particularly vulnerable to plastic pollution. Seabirds mistake bottle caps for food, their stomachs filling with indigestible plastic that leads to starvation. Whales become entangled in discarded fishing nets, their immense bodies slowly succumbing to exhaustion and injury. On land, landfills pose a significant threat to both human and environmental health. These toxins can contaminate drinking water sources, poison agricultural lands, and even make their way into the food chain, posing serious risks to human health. The truth is, there's no such thing as a way when it comes to trash. The consequences of our wastefulness extend far beyond littered landscapes and polluted waterways. Trash is a major contributor to climate change, one of the most pressing existential threats facing humanity today. The production, transportation, and disposal of waste generate significant amounts of greenhouse gases, primarily carbon dioxide and methane. These gases trap heat in the atmosphere, leading to rising global temperatures, more extreme weather events, and rising sea levels. Trash also contributes to biodiversity loss, the rapid decline of plant and animal species around the world. Habitat destruction, pollution, and climate change, all exacerbated by our waste crisis, are driving countless species towards extinction. We are living in the midst of a sixth mass extinction, an event driven largely by human activity, and our addiction to trash is playing a significant role. We can turn the tide on this crisis, but it requires a fundamental shift in our thinking and our behavior. We see the unsightly piles of garbage, the overflowing bins, the plastic choking our oceans, but what we don't often see is the invisible threat trash poses to our health. It's a breeding ground for disease, a source of harmful toxins, and a contributor to respiratory problems. The way we manage our waste has direct consequences for our well-being. Imagine a stagnant pool of water, a breeding ground for disease-carrying mosquitoes. Now picture that pool of water surrounded by rotting garbage, a veritable feast for vermin and insects. This is the reality of many communities living near uncontrolled dump sites. Mosquitoes, flies, rats, and cockroaches spread diseases like malaria, dengue, cholera, and leptospirosis. Improper disposal of medical waste spreads infectious diseases like HIV, AIDS, and hepatitis. Antibiotics in landfills promote antibiotic-resistant bacteria or superbugs. The dangers of trash aren't always immediate. Some of the most insidious threats are hidden, lurking in the chemicals and heavy metals that leach from our waste, slowly accumulating in the environment and our bodies over time. Landfills, even those carefully designed and managed, can leach harmful substances, such as lead, mercury, and PCBs, into the surrounding soil and groundwater. These toxins can contaminate drinking water sources, agricultural lands, and even the air we breathe. Exposure to these toxins, even at low levels, can have long-term health consequences, especially for children and pregnant women. Lead poisoning, for example, can lead to developmental delays, learning disabilities, and behavioral problems in children. The burning of plastic and other materials releases dioxins, a group of highly toxic chemicals that can disrupt hormones, damage the immune system, and even cause cancer. Statistics can be overwhelming, but behind every number is a human story. A story like that of Maria, a young mother living near one of the world's largest landfills in Manila. Every day, Maria scavenges through mountains of trash, risking her health and safety to find recyclable materials to sell. She earns less than $5 a day, barely enough to feed her children. Her story is not unique. Millions of people around the world, many of them children, make a living from scavenging in landfills, exposed to hazardous materials and dangerous conditions. Then there's the story of Ahmed, a fisherman in Indonesia. He once made a good living from the sea, but now his nets are filled with plastic more often than fish. Let's talk numbers. The world generates over 2 billion tons of municipal solid waste annually, with at least 33% of that not managed in an environmentally safe manner. Imagine a garbage truck emptying its load every single second. That's the scale of the problem. We produce over 300 million tons of plastic each year, and less than 9% of it gets recycled. The rest ends up in landfills, incinerators, or worse, our oceans. If current trends continue, our oceans could contain more plastic than fish by weight by 2050. These numbers are staggering, but they represent more than just a collection of data. The truth is, we are all responsible for this crisis. Every plastic bottle we buy, every single-use item we discard, contributes to the problem. But we also hold the power to change course. We need a fundamental shift in our relationship with waste. We need to move away from a throwaway culture and embrace a circular economy, where products are designed to be reused, repaired, and recycled. This requires action at every level, from individuals making conscious choices about the products they buy to governments implementing policies that promote sustainability and hold corporations accountable. The solutions are out there: reducing our consumption, embracing reusable alternatives, supporting companies committed to sustainability, and advocating for stronger waste management policies. The choice is ours. We can continue down a path of destruction, or we can choose a different future, a future where waste is no longer a problem, but a resource. We've uncovered the shocking truth about trash, a global crisis that threatens our planet and our health. But this isn't a time for despair, it's a time for action. We can turn the tide on this crisis, but it requires a collective effort. The first step is reducing our consumption. By simply buying less, we can dramatically reduce the amount of waste we generate. Choose products with minimal packaging, opt for reusable alternatives whenever possible. And when we do generate waste, let's dispose of it responsibly. Recycle everything you can, compost food scraps and yard waste. Small actions, multiplied by millions, can have a profound impact. Change starts at home, but it doesn't end there. We need to empower our communities to adopt sustainable waste management practices, support local initiatives, advocate for stronger recycling programs, and demand accountability from our elected officials. Organize neighborhood cleanups, volunteer at local recycling centers, and educate others about the importance of responsible waste management. Together, we can create a ripple effect, transforming our communities from the ground up. Schools, businesses, and institutions also have a crucial role to play. Implement waste reduction programs, promote reusable containers and water bottles, and educate students and employees about the importance of sustainability. By creating a culture of environmental responsibility, we can inspire lasting change. And let's not forget the power of innovation. Support companies developing new technologies and solutions for waste management, from biodegradable plastics to advanced recycling systems. The future of waste management lies in our ability to find creative and sustainable solutions. The truth about trash is both shocking and sobering, but it's not a lost cause. We have the power to change course, to create a future where waste is no longer a crisis but a resource, a future where our planet thrives and future generations inherit a healthy and sustainable world. This is a call to action, a call to reject the status quo and embrace a new way of thinking, a way of living that prioritizes the health of our planet and the well-being of all living things. Share this message with your friends, your family, your community. Let's start a conversation, raise awareness, and inspire action. The time for complacency is over. The future is in our hands. Thank you for joining me on this journey, for uncovering the shocking truth about trash. Together, we can make a difference. The choice is ours. What will your choice be?